Flosstube, it's Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche. I'm back for an update video. Today is Monday, December 30th. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and that you're getting ready for the new year. It's that time of the year where we like to do our wrap up of our cross stitching and crafting adventures over the course of the year, and that's my plan for today's video. I had hoped to show you all of my starts and all of my finishes, but as you can see, my area is a little messy and I can't gather everything together. So I'm going to show you some of my most recent finishes, but I am going to do a whip parade today. So a little life update. It has been a wonderful year. I have been very busy, but not bad busy, fun busy over the course of the year. Lots of fun things. We've gone to a couple of places. My husband and I went to Disneyland with friends in October, and that was fun. And we hope to do some traveling in 2025, but not quite as much as we did in 2024. So we'll see. Christmas was nice and calm here. We had family come in for Thanksgiving. So we had a wonderful Thanksgiving meal. It was such a great weekend. And then for Christmas, it was much quieter. My older son, Patrick, actually drove to Mississippi and spent Christmas with my family, my mother and sisters and brothers, and he had a really good time. Hobby and I stayed home, as well as our younger son, Nicholas, and his girlfriend. So it was very quiet Christmas. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it so much. But we are getting ready for the new year. I've got a couple of more days off before I have to go back to work, but it's just been a nice end to 2024. I'm going to, like I said earlier, my plan is to show you kind of some of my latest finishes, but also do a whip parade. I do have some stats though. So in 2024, I started 23 new things. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost a third of those have started since the 1st of November. And then in 2024, I also had 30 finishes. So I had more finishes than I had starts. So that's always a good kind of direction to be moving. So I will get some things organized, and then I will show you some of my most recent finishes. All right, so I've gathered some of my finishes over the past couple of months. So I'm going to just show you what I have. Some of them, one of them is fully finished. The rest of them are just FO'd. So in August 9th of this year, I actually finished the I Love Fall Most of All from Brenda Gervais, and actually fully finished that. Isn't that cute? So I bought this from Country Stitches online as a kit and I think I started this in 2023 and finished it in 2024. All right, in September, I finished the Tapestry of Stitches. Oh, let's put something behind that. Tapestry of Stitches by Jeanette Douglas. This was a kit that I got from the Sampler Guild of the Rockies, and I started it in March of 2023. It was the Jeanette Douglas was the visiting designer for the workshop that the Sampler Guild does every year, and I actually started it in March, and I finished this again in September on the 28th. Look at all that Bargello satin stitches. That took a lot longer than I expected. I would talk about how I was going to do one of those in like a couple of days. No, it took me a lot longer. Okay, in September, Brenda Gervais released several patterns, and one of those patterns was the Woodland Witch, and I immediately started it and finished it. And I started it on a piece of 40 count sandbar from Bestitch Me. I just love the color. Here, let me adjust my light. I think it's a little too bright. There we go. That's better. So that is Sandbar from Be Stitch Me. And I think I used pretty much all of the called for. And this was a fun stitch. I've already started the Let It Snow, which is a winter accompaniment to this one. I just think these are really pretty. And I bought a pumpkin to finish this on, but it's too big. So I've got to figure out another way to finish this. But Woodland Witch by Brenda Gervais with Dye Needle and Thread. Let's see. Next up in November, I finished Pumpkin Lane Sampler from Erin Elizabeth. This is stitched on a piece of 18 count. No, excuse me. It's 32 count 18th century Blackbird from R&R, and I used the called for silks. I started this in March, right at the time of market. It was released at market, and finished it in November. I just love the colors of this one. Here, let me do that again so you can see a little better. Isn't that pretty? I love grays and yellows together, and this one turned out so pretty. All right. Also in November, I finished one of the kits that I'm getting from Scattered Seeds. This is Sweetness of Spring Pin Keep. So pretty. And it's DMC on Country Mocha, Vintage Country Mocha or Country Mocha. I think it's 36 count. I think this one has been released now. It may be one of the kits from last year. While I'm thinking about it, I'm also a member of the Silver Needle. What is this called? A Little Help from Our Friends Stitching Circle. And I actually did pretty well working on the kit. So I finished one and mailed it to a friend. There was one that was Friendship Blooms, I think is the name of it. No, what is it called? Flowers of Friendship from Scarlet House. And I finished that and FFO'd it and sent it to a friend for a Christmas present. But I also stitched Friendship Bloom, which is Pansy Patch design for the Silver Needle Club. So I finished this one in December. And then I had a huge finish in December. This is a start. I started this with Abby Bella Stitch in January of 2023. And I finished this December 20th of 2024. And it is the ABC Horn Book from Primitive Needle. So I'll get that a little closer so you can see. And as big as it is, it was not a difficult stitch. This is on 40 count Rusty Nail from Teresa Kitten Stitcher. Can't remember the name of her fabrics, but this is a huge finish. That makes me super happy. Look how pretty that is. All right. And then I've had two more finishes, but I've been working on smalls. I've decided that I want to do these little smalls to set up and decorate my house. I have 3 or 4 little tables sitting around down on our main floor that I could put little cross-stitch pieces. So a new series of designs came out in, I think it was in November, but it's from Country Cottage Needleworks. It's the Mini Village series, and I immediately got the January, started it on, when did I start it? I started on the 21st of December, and I finished it on like the 26th or something. But isn't that cute? It's on 32 count parchment from Weeks Dye Works, and it's not necessarily the called for, but it's something that matches. I'm just pulling from my stash. And I ordered the frame that goes with this from, I can't remember the name of the company. I'll think of it in a minute. But they have a frame, and I ordered it. If you ordered, you probably know this. They had on Etsy where you could order it, but there was some big problem with Etsy. I still haven't got my frame, but hopefully I'll get that soon. Isn't that cute? Look at the two snowmen, or snowman and snow lady, because one of them has a bow in her hair. All right. And then my latest finish is one of these little Dapper Doodads from Stitching with the Housewives. It's one of the snow globes. It's called Snow In or Snowed In. It's so cute. So I just finished that one yesterday. So those are some of my most recent finishes. All right, so I have my whips organized. I've got them organized from my oldest to my newest whip. At this point, I think I have maybe 20, so we will see. My first whip is my oldest whip. And if you've been with me for very long, you're like, here we go again. Is this thing ever going to finish? And it is. I'm so close. I don't have the cover photo because I cleaned out my project bag. This is a So Much to Love project bag, and I only have the charts that I need to finish. This is Splendor of Florals from Sharon Pope. It was published in the Just Cross Stitch magazine back in 2010. I started it in February of 2014 and have been stitching on it off and on since then. So here is my progress. As you can see, it is a big one. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count antique white, I believe, using DMC, except the border is a Karen water lily, I believe. This year I've finished several. I think I finished the violets, and then maybe these 5 down here. 4 of the 5. My latest one was the Cosmos. So I'll show you, wrong side, the Cosmos. I finished that one in November, and in December I worked on borders. So I've done the top border here. I think I did something down here, but now I just have 3 blocks, January, April, and July. So this past year, I would stitch on this one for 7 days at the beginning of each month. And I probably will continue that, but not in January, because January I'm doing Bringo and I'm starting Whip Go again. And so I'm going to stitch on projects based on the Bringo board primarily. But that's my oldest whip, and fingers crossed 2025 is going to be its last year. Okay. All right. Whip number 2 is one that I did not stitch on at all this year. It is Croaking Toad Manor from Praiseworthy Stitches. Sorry. I picked this up in Tulsa at Silver Needle years ago when I attended a retreat. My younger sister and I both picked up one of these, and we're going to stitch them together. And I started it in 2016 when I did all my crazy starts, and I kind of got bored with it in 2023. And almost completely UFO'd it. I actually took out all the threads, and I wasn't going to finish it, but now I'm going to. So I finished the 3 bottom pages, and then started on the middle set of pages on this side. That's the tree. And I will work on it this year. It's on my Whip Go board. And I'm probably will pick it up after I finish the Splendor Florals. So whip number 2, Croaking Toad Manor. It is stitched on 32 count Mystic from Picture This Plus. I bought the chart and the fabric from Silver Needle. All right. Whip number 3 is, let me pull this book because this is a series. It is the 12 Days of Christmas by Jim Shore. I started this in December of 2016, and I've actually finished 1 and 2, so I've got those to show you. I finished 1 last year, and I have it framed. And I'm stitching this on perforated paper. It's a Flourish perforated paper from Mill Hill. And I just think they're so pretty. And I finished the second one this year. And for some reason I put the plexiglass on this. I'll take that out. But I finished this in like the 20th of December. So pretty. I ordered these frames. They're 8x8 frames. I just ordered a dozen of them on Amazon. So I have them ready to frame the pieces. Now, there are 12 parts to it. And I have some starts on the other one. So I'll just go ahead and show you these. You've seen these before probably if you've watched my video. So there's the third one. Fourth is Calling Birds. Fifth one. Not much of a start. I think I started that year and then I haven't touched hardly any of these. Like 7. Look at that. There's nothing. 8. And 9. 10. 11. And I didn't do anything on 12. That's right. So I'll work on 3. If I can do, one a year, we will see. But one of the things that I don't like about this is it's perforated paper and it's very large and holding that perforated paper. So I was watching Helen D and she mentioned these frames. So I ordered some of these frames from an Etsy shop that's actually in California. If I can remember, I'll post that. So if you haven't seen these or haven't gotten these are very good. I love this. This was a game changer. Thank you, Helen, for recommending those. All right, so that's my third whip. My fourth whip is, let me find the picture, Halloween at Hollyberry Farm. I have stitched Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. I'm going to move you just a little bit. I've stitched Summer at Hollyberry Farm. I have something on me. And I'm going to finish Halloween at Hollyberry Farm because I've been doing a lot of work on this one this year. The beginning of the year I had something like this. And now that it's on my rotation where I stitch on it every month, I've actually gotten this much done. So the top 3 pages. It's stitched on a piece of 40 count cedar plank from Lakeside Linen. And it is so pretty. It's a big house though. Look at that house. I've got about maybe a third of it done. Goal, get it done this year. All right, so that's 4. 5 is another one that I'm struggling with. This is Poison Garden Mandala from Chatelaine. If you've watched my video before, I've struggled with this because I bought this chart at Market one year. And when I started, I bought the kit through European Cross Stitch, I think. And so excited, I started it in February of 2022 on my birthday when we moved to Colorado. And the chart wasn't complete. It was missing like half of the stuff. And so I contacted Chatelaine and they're like, so I had to purchase it again as a PDF. And then when you look at the symbols, they'll have like a T and a bold T. And of course, I always use the wrong color. So I really got frustrated with this and I was going to just completely UFO it. And I'm like, okay, now that I know what I'm doing and what the mistakes are, let's try again. So I'm going to pick this up. And actually, this is one of the calls for Whip Go in January. So I will spend some time on it. This is my progress at this point, which is not very much because I've pulled out as much as I've stitched. But we'll see. We're going to give it another try this year. So that is whip number 5. Whip number 6 is another one that I'm like, I don't know about this, because the point of this was I started it as a possible gift for my son's girlfriend. But she may not want this, so I need to talk to her. It's Feather Fairy by Mirabilia. And I have hardly anything done. I have that done. So I'm going to talk to Brittany to see if she even wants it. If she wants it, I will stitch it for her. But if she doesn't want it, I'm just going to UFO this. So that's whip number 6. All right, whip number 7. I started, so now those are all old things. From here on out, these are whips that I started in 2024, if you can believe that. So if you've watched my video for very long, you know that I had over 100 whips in 2016, 2017. And I have finished almost all of those. So that was what? 6 of them are the old ones. Everything else that I'm going to show you are starts since January of 2024. Starting with a January of 15th of this year, Christmas Rider. It is one of the Leisure Arts Santas. It is in this Santa Remembered book. I have loved these books. I've stitched multiple Santas from this. I was just pulling down pictures to pack up my Christmas decoration and have multiple ones framed. But I started this as my snow stitch. So I stitch on this when it snows, and that's my progress. We had about 5 days of snow in, what was that, October, November? So I worked on that quite a bit. And it is so pretty. It's on, I'm not sure what the name of the fabric. It's a silk weaver, but it's going to be beautiful. I mean, that donkey looks great on this. So no snow lately in Colorado, but everybody assures me that we'll get snow in January and February. So I started that in January of 2015. January 15th of 2024. All right. And then I did some Mania starts. Not very many. One of those that I started was Rose Hill Farm Sampler from Stacy Nash. This was part of the Homespun Needlework Cross Stitch and Samplers book on Facebook. I got the kit and I decided I was going to start it, and that's my progress. I'm stitching it on whatever it came with. So let me see if it's on here. 36 count needle bling linen broom grass stitched with Weeks Dye Works. So that's one of my whips. So what is that? That's 8. And then I didn't do anything or finished anything that I'd started. And then I went to Maine with some friends back in September. And one of the friends was stitching on this freebie from the Primitive Needle. And I'm like, oh, I need to start that. So it's Moon Witch. It's a freebie. You can probably find it. I know that Teresa Kitten Stitcher was sending it out with some of her orders not too long ago. And I don't know what I'm stitching it on. This looks like an R&R. Probably, I bet this is vintage homespun or vintage beeswax is what it is. That's my progress. She's really cute. So I should have her, I could finish her soon. All right. And now these last few that I'm going to show you are things that I've started since November. So what is that? 8, 9. Next up is, look at this. So I was part of Teresa Koget's Patreon for a long time, and when this was released, I kitted it up immediately. It's the Green Coat Santa. Well, now it's released. There's a booklet that has it. And Goose stitched the model that's used in the book. If you have not watched her, you should watch her. She is hilarious. She sounds like, oh, there's an actress she reminds me of, but she is so funny. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I decided I was going to start this in November. I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count R&R that I'm not sure the name. And that's my progress. But Jingle Ball happened, and Teresa had a blue coat Santa where she had it finished as a stand-up. And I think I'm going to just do that with this one and not do this border. I could cut it off and just do it as a stand-up. I think that is such a cute idea. And just stitch him, maybe end it here just past his boots, but keep this little house here and just not stitch all this stuff around him and do him as a stand-up. That's what I'm going to do. All right, and he's going to become my snow stitch after I finish Christmas Rider as well. Okay. He was not on my list, so let's see. Where am I at? I'm at 9, 10. Okay. 11 is Let It Snow by Brenda Gervais. If you know me, I love Brenda Gervais stuff. She's my favorite designer. I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count sandbar. So in my previous section, I showed you some of my finishes, and I showed you Moon Witch, stitching it on the same thing. And I've stitched the cloche and almost all of those snowflakes, and I've started on the snowman. Now this is my 25/7 stitch currently. That if you're not familiar with 25/7, you pick a project and you stitch on it for 25 minutes a day every day of the week. That's the 25 and the 7. I love that. I have, here I'll show you my little clipboard. I have my almost complete set of whips, and then I keep what I'm going to do with my rotation and what will move up, and then I have my 25/7. So you can see currently I'm on Let It Snow, and when I finish Let It Snow, Moon Witch is the next one. But that's how I do. I have something that I stitch on as a major thing every day, and then I do my 25/7 as well. All right, let me see. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. All right, 12 is a new start from November. It is Gather Pine Cones from Hands On Design. I spent less than 20 minutes on it. Just hardly anything started. It's this one right here. But it's on 32 count Fog from Picture This Plus. And it will move up when I start working through some of my 25/7. But that's a brand new start. Whip number 13 is another Brenda Gervais, Give Thanks. This is an old sampler. I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count Acorn from Farm Girl Dry Goods. I'm part of her Patreon, and I have gotten hardly anything done. I stitched on it for a little bit on Thanksgiving between, putting the turkey on and getting ready for a big meal. So that's how much I've done. It's in the lineup for one of those 25/7 as well. 14 is another small start. This is a recent release from Plum Street. It's called Jump Clump. I love spiders sometimes. Oh, where is it? There it is. But where we lived in South Mississippi, we had a lot of jumping spiders. So I'm stitching this actually for my husband, and that's as far as I've gotten. Just that top border. But he loves jumping spiders as well. Where we lived, we built our house in Mississippi on a pasture, and apparently we built our house on the native lands of jumping spiders because they were everywhere. They were in our cars. They were everywhere. My sister came and picked up some stuff from us when we moved, and she's like, they're everywhere in our house now. I'm like, sorry, but they're cute. All right, and then my last whip is something I started yesterday. It is Seasonal Celebrations Winter. So this is an old chart from Country Cottage Needleworks. I'm stitching this on a piece of, I got it written down. Look, these are my threads. I'll talk about this in a second. It is on a piece of 40 count Meadow Mist Silk Weaver, and I'm using the called for threads. Yeah. Only difference is instead of DMC white, I'm using Anchor white. So I started this yesterday, and that's my progress. It goes really fast. Now these stripes are the house, and I actually had the other color stitched, but I messed up right here. See how I've got this stitch here? I didn't have it here, and when I counted up 2, I counted wrong. And I had done the entire thing, and I had to pull it all out, but that's okay. So the other thing that I'm doing is I'm only stitching the top part. I know several people have talked about this. Instead of doing the words, I'm only going to do that part. And I actually made everyone in my house look at it and tell me. And there was only one person who said stitch the words. The other votes were just the top part. So that's what I'm doing. I just started it, and maybe I can finish it. If I stitch on it today and tomorrow, maybe I can finish it by the end of 2024. But, so let me see. I had 11, 12, 13, 14. So it looks like I have about 14 whips now. Can you believe that? Those of you that have been watching me since 2016, that is crazy. But what are my plans? Let's talk about it. All right, so my plans for 2025. Continue working on my whips. I would love to get finished with, I doubt I'll finish all 6 of those old whips, but I would love to get rid of them, get finished with them, especially if I get rid of 1 or 2 of those. So I am doing Whip Go, so I'll show you my Whip Go board. If you're not familiar with Whip Go, this is Jessie Marie Does Stuff. It's a year-long kind of stitching group where you make a bingo type board, and every month she calls 2 numbers, unless she calls 13, and then if she does that, she calls a 3rd number. But you make up your Whip Go, and then you assign things to it. So January, she called 11 and 20. So 11 is 12 Days of Christmas, and 20 is Poison Garden Mandala. So my goals were, and what I'm looking at is another sheet she provides where you make your list and your goals. So you can see 12 Days of Christmas, 500 stitches. Poison Garden Mandala, 500 stitches. So that's my goal to do in January. And then January 25th, she'll call the numbers for February. So you have a month to complete your goals, which is fun to do. I will start these things. I have not been good at keeping up with them, so I'm hoping this year I will be better. And I don't have as many things happening this year. I'm an author on 2 anatomy and physiology textbooks, and we just finished revising 1, and we are finishing up the hard part of the revision of the 2nd one, like next week. So then I won't have to worry about that for 2 years. And maybe I can play around and have fun with this. So my other thing that I'm doing, I've got all kinds of little sheets of paper, is the Bringo. So Bringo is through magazine, what is it? Monthly Magazine Challenge Facebook. It's Carolyn Zook and Robin. And it's the same kind of thing where you come up with a board of different things, and they'll call numbers and you stitch on those. But this is all during January. So each day you get one of these, and they actually have a sheet of prompts that you identify something. So like whip or new start that is fantasy theme. And I have Feather Fairy, which I may not be stitching. whip or new start that reminds you of growth. So flowers, splendor florals. And you can double up some of these. So I've got splendor florals on here quite a bit. But it's just a way to get you to work on some of your whips. So that's the other January new thing that I'm going to be doing. Now, I was watching Robin. Is it Bird Eye Stitcher? I think that's her name on Flosstube. I'll link all of these below. And she was showing that a planner that she's using. And one of the things in the planner was a habit tracker, the circular ones. And I was watching and I'm like, oh, I've got an idea. So I went on Etsy and I found for like $2 where you can get printables of habit trackers. Can you see those? It's a circle with blocks for each day of the month. And then you've got a place for, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different habits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my 25/7 tracker. So I'll put whatever I started with. So it's going to be Let It Snow. And then I'll just shade in each day that I stitch on it. And if I finish it, then I'll start the next one, which is Moon Witch. And then, so it'll be interesting to see if I stitch on something all days of the month and which things I stitched on and how long did it take me doing 25/7 to finish some of these projects. So I've already got it set up all the way through December. I'm so excited. I love list checking. All right, I think that is all of my planner stuff. The notebook that I'm using, this is one of the tool notebooks. I got this years ago. I was still in Mississippi, so at least 4 years ago. And I like it. I use the planner from Jen Lee. Let me see if I have the cover for it. I don't think I have the cover. But this is the Marathon. So it's the printable planner that she uses. I'll link her below. It's 24 hours of cross stitch. And the way she has it, she has monthly pages, and then she has Marathon, the 24 hours of cross stitch Marathon. She has pages for that. She has pages for your whips. I mean, if you like to be organized, she's got something for you to do. So here's your write it down, all your whips. See, I already messed up because I have ABC Hornbook and I finished that one, which is okay. Oh, I've marked it out and said I've completed it. But it's just, again, another way to keep things organized if you like doing stuff like that. What is that? Okay. All right. I think that is it for my whips. Let's see. Is there anything else? Other planning? I think that's the main thing. I will show you my planners. I know I've shown this before, but this is the planner that I love to use. I get it every year on Amazon. There's the artist name. And here is this one I had from the 2024. But I just go, I'll show you. It's kind of messy because I like to use lots of different colors. But I can list my whips at the beginning of the year. And then I have places where I can list what I'm doing for the 25/7. What is my list of whips at the beginning of the month? So this is December currently. And then each day I write down what I've stitched on. And then I've done this little thing because I'm getting all, fancy, is I put a little piece of paper in there if there's a special event. So that was Jingle Ball. I was involved in Liz Matthews. I didn't go to the class. I just got the kit because hubby talked me into going out to eat. So sorry, Liz. My boyfriend asked me on a date. And I've got a marker for January's 24 hours of cross stitch. So it's just, I have all the information. Got these cute pins that I got from Barnes & Noble. Look at that. Oh, this one's for Nicole. Look at this, Nicole. It's a cat. But they're gel pens that are erasable. I get to act like a 12-year-old little girl playing with my little pin set. Actually, 10-year-old little girl, because my niece is all into paper and pens, and they're like, oh, what are you going to get her? I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to get her. I got her the whole set of these pens and a little bag to put them in. Not the same as mine, but I'm like, I know what to get a 10-year-old little girl, because that's what I am at heart, I guess. All right, so I think that is all the updates. I will try to say that I'm going to do better at recording this next year. I don't know. I do have time on Fridays, every other Friday, so maybe I can do videos on Fridays, but every time I plan to do better, I don't. So we'll see. I watch Flosstube pretty much every day. Enjoying watching everybody do their updates. So I hope everyone has a great... Oh, let me do a quick shop update. So I have an Etsy shop, Jen Stitching Niche, and right now until the end of January 1st, I'm running a huge sale. It's like a whole bunch of charts, 40% off, whole bunch of notions, 40% off. I'm trying to get ready for market. I do this every year, so I do a big sale at the end of the year. There's lots of good stuff still left, so if you haven't checked it out, do so. I'll have the link below. But otherwise, have a great New Year's. I hope to see you soon. Happy stitching. Thanks.